Joining us this morning. Appreciate your time. And I don't know if you want to offer an opening statement, but a couple of facts that I saw as I was doing my research on the Oregon defense here. In the last 2 years under your direction, Oregon is second nationally with 9.2 points per game off turnovers. And watching the game a few Friday nights ago, the beginning of the game was 14-0 by virtue of two interceptions that you guys turned into touchdowns. So maybe you could just start off talking about the importance of turnovers and how your creation of them has led to team success.
Well, Scott, I mean, obviously here in the latter part of the year, we've been better with that. It's been a process of growth and building forward this year. And obviously it's a direction we hope to continue on by our emphasis, by how we practice, by how we prepare. And, tip our hat to our players here and the coaches. We've, through the latter course of the year, we've been able to find a way to refocus on our blueprint, on our process, to improve it, to grow forward down the stretch here. And obviously through this bowl prep as well, that's what we've been focused on. We have an unbelievable opportunity to play in the Fiesta Bowl against a top 10 opponent that is very disciplined, very well coached, and plays extremely hard. And so it's going to take every bit of that process, to prepare ourselves for the challenge.
Coach, the other note I picked up from the team was that in the last two games, you've given up 1.7 yards per carry rushing in those two games. And obviously on Saturday, you're going to be facing one of the best backs in the country in Breece Hall. If you could just talk a little bit about your overall strategy. I'm not going to dive into tactics and try and give away your game plan, but
I appreciate that.
stopping or slowing down Breece Hall.
I definitely appreciate that. The number one thing here is, it starts with their philosophy and their mentality. And obviously they got a tremendous back. Hall is a tremendous back. I mean, from his vision to his elite burst, his ability to break tackles. And obviously he has, a good O-line and tight ends that do a great job up front, changing windows. The coaches do a great job changing surfaces and changing the looks within the formations. And they do a great job executing it. And then again, obviously the vision for us, the vision and the patience of Hall and he's got an elite burst. And we are going to have our hands full. We've been obviously preparing the last couple of weeks and sharpening our fundamentals and our techniques to, because ultimately those are the things that make the scheme work. And so we've got to focus while we've got a great challenge with the personnel that we face. We've got to do a great job focusing on what we're doing and more importantly, how we're doing it.
Sounds great. Thanks, Coach. I will open up the floor for questions. I'm going to start with Max Torres from Scoop Duck.
Yeah, Andy, the play of the defensive line was, crucial to say the least, and you guys taking home that conference title. Talk about just what it's meant to have, I think, deeper overall depth, and then specifically what you've seen from Brandon Dorlus as he's kind of had a breakout year.
Yes, there's no question. I mean, depth is everything up front. It's every play is a hand-to-hand combat fight up front, and so the more depth you can have, and the more depth obviously that you can develop over the course of the year. You have more fresh guys available through the course of a game. And obviously it's been a process over this year of continuing to grow the young players that are emerging, the young players that are providing more depth to the veteran players. And it allows us to keep snap counts at a rate where guys can play effective through the course of a whole game. And that's really been our focus. And, as we've had this shortened season and camp and things like that, we've been able to build on that here in the last few weeks, and we're hoping to continue to do so. And obviously, Brandon's been tremendous. Again, can't speak enough. We got to focus on finishing. He's got plenty of things he can continue to develop and get better at, and it all comes down to his focus. But he's been tremendous on the edge, and he's done a great job inside for a young guy like him to be able to play inside, play outside on the edge. That's been tremendous for us.
Okay, next up, we're going to go with James Crapilla from the Oregonian. James.
Andy, I'll fall on the grenade here. Can you address the rumored candidacy at Boise State and your level of interest in, naturally, it's your alma mater and a fine opportunity. Can you address the rumors of that and any contact and your level of interest in the opportunity?
Yeah, no question. I mean, James, I get it. I understand that's my alma mater. A lot of blood, sweat, and equity into that university. But ultimately, there's been no process. I've not been engaged in that process. I'm sure they have a process they're going through, but we're focused on ours here, and we're focused on the finish. And we're very blessed to be in this opportunity here. Not only a part of this university, but this opportunity we have to finish this season. It has been so challenging. That's demanded so much focus and growth over the course of the year. And ultimately, that's where we're at, right? And we fully intend to finish. And that's where our focus is. Again, there hasn't been anything, there has not been any formal interaction there. So this is where our focus is right now.
We're going to go with Zach Martin from the Iowa State Daily. Zach.
Coach, this is kind of a two-parter. When your name is, rumored to potentially be a head coach, how difficult is it to, not pay attention to the outside noise and really keep things in-house and focus on the game at hand? And what challenges does this Iowa State offense present you for a defense that has been on the rise last really all season?
Well, to answer your first question, this offense makes it, and the team we're playing against makes it really easy to focus on the task at hand because they're really, really good. They're very well coached. Their culture is on point. The discipline of which they operate with, that's where our focus is right now. And sometimes you got to practice what you preach, and you got to focus on the finish, and that's what we fully intend to do. It's going to take every bit of our focus and energy this week, as it has the last week, to prepare ourselves to play our best against this opponent and this opportunity we have.
Okay, we're going to go to Jeff Metcalf from the Arizona Republic.
Could you just talk a little bit? You played 6 games. That normally would be half a season. Where do you think you are in terms of like going into a major bowl game compared to where you'd be in a normal year? And then could you just also comment a little bit on Purdy specifically?
Yes, sir. Well, I will say this: we have definitely made strides. We have definitely made strides over the course of the year. Everywhere from our mental aspect and our process of how we prepare, and not only the players, but I think overall as a whole organization and coaches included, and the strides we've made here of late in the last 3 weeks and the last month. We've played one game, but we've had a lot of practice time, which has been extremely beneficial given like you were saying, that it's been a modified season, and we've only, we haven't had the amount of time that we would normally have. But I would say this, that in the last 3 to 4 weeks, we've taken full advantage of the time we had to grow forward. And then, all this practice time is needed because from this offense, you get a variety of personnel formations. You get condensed sets, you get flex sets, you get empty, you get movers, you get tempo in the pre-snap, all those things. And obviously Brock does a tremendous job of handling all this and operating this offense. And then, he makes plays in the pocket. He's very comfortable in the drop back game in the pocket, and obviously as well, in the play action game. Their play action game is very well dialed into their run game, and so they complement each other really well. And then obviously you got the challenge of Brock getting out of the pocket and him being really efficient in the pass game, being able to extend plays obviously with his legs, but obviously he finds a way very late in those plays, very, very late in the down to make things happen with his arm when he's out of the pocket.
Next up, I'm going to go to Eric Skopel. Eric from 247.
Andy, this is one of the best teams in the country at protecting the quarterback. I was going to ask you just kind of what do they do so well in that area, and then just how crucial does it feel like it'll be to get after Brock and wreak some havoc like you guys did against Keaton in the conference championship game?
Well, again, I think they use different surfaces, different protections to be able to protect Brock. And then obviously Brock is extremely elusive as well. I mean, you turn on the film, there's a lot of missed tackles, whether it be in the pocket or out of the pocket. but I think they do a tremendous job of using different surfaces to create different protections, to chip on the edges and or add in more numbers into the protection.
Okay, AJ from Rivals, AJ Jacobson.
Coach, you look at this Iowa State team, very, very physical with their up front, offensive line, their tight end group. They'd love to just run it all day, I suspect. What do you got to do against a very physical team like this to not let them just run it down the throat all day?
Yeah, no question. This is what you were speaking to earlier. I mean, it really comes down to our mentality and our focus and how we apply that to our fundamentals and our techniques. The scheme is the scheme. You see over the course of the year, they've played a lot of good defenses, but those who play fundamentally and technically sound, have had the most success trying to stop this run game. And it is tackle football, and they have one of the best tailbacks in the nation. So as we have been, especially in the last month here, we've been working very hard on our tackling and different phases of whether it be open field or profile, and all the different scenarios.
Great. Michelle Gardner from the Arizona Republic.
Thanks, Andy. Andy, you had some guys declare or opt out, I guess, some very, very good players in Graham and Holland. And you've had some other guys kind of step up. And I guess that's just a product of having a program where you've got backups that are ready when their chances come. What can you say about the way those guys have stepped up?
Yeah, it's been tremendous. And I think we can all really see the growth over, the last month or so. And it's been a challenging year from a lot of different circumstances, but especially just with the availability of, who's going to be able to play all the way from the beginning of the course of the year. But most importantly, like you said, we've had a lot of young men step up and really develop and come into their own. And that's the beautiful thing about college football, whether it's the circumstances that we faced this year with opt-outs, with COVID, whatever it may be. Let's call it college football. Players are going to graduate. Players are going to go on to the NFL. Ultimately, when you're doing things successfully and you're developing young men as young men into, and obviously as football players, they're going to have opportunities to go on. And so it's been tremendous really here, in the last month again, that to see some of these young men emerge onto the scene. Obviously, Jamal Hill is one. We were talked about Dorless already, and there's a lot more that are doing a great job and that are well on their way.
Thank you, Coach. We're going to go to Jesse Morrison from Arizona PBS, Cronkite News from Arizona State.
Hey, Coach. I just wanted to know just what's different about this year in a bowl week, like just leading up, like as far as the events go, and just how is it different?
Everything in between. This whole year. I mean, it's par for the course, right? Traditionally we would have probably been headed down that way already and been down in Phoenix, which is fine. We're more than thrilled to be able to go down on Thursday and finish our prep down there. And obviously the bowl does an unbelievable job of setting up the accommodations and all that stuff. So for these players to and this coaching staff and this program to have gone through what they've gone through this year, and obviously for Iowa State as well, it's been a very, very challenging year. And so to be provided and earn this opportunity to play in this bowl game, we're excited about that, but it is definitely different than, a traditional year. You're trying to hold protocol. I mean, that's the most important thing, is hold protocol too until, we get to the game.
We're going to have two more, Coach, to finish up. First, we're going to go with Kevin Wade from 247 and then James Krupia from the Oregonian. Kevin?
Okay.
Yeah, Coach, just curious, since you've coached in this game before, and what do you remember from that experience of getting to coach in the Fiesta Bowl and back in 2014?
Yeah, no question. Just to the last question, I mean, the experience of the whole bowl game overall, and that's what we've our players understand the opportunity that this is to play in this game and having experience coached in this before. It is an unbelievable experience. One of a kind venue to be able to play this game in, but also the opportunity to lead up into this game and prep and play in this game against a top 10 opponent. And so it's not only the bowl itself, but it's obviously the challenge of the opponent that you play in a game like this. And so we're very fortunate, and obviously, again, we got to continue to focus on the finish to handle our process the best we can.
James, we're going to wrap up with you, my friend.
Andy, kind of a two-parter on personnel. One on Hutchinson. He was the number 10 JUCO receiver, and there aren't too many times where you see that kind of player necessarily deliver and be a leading receiver in the FBS, the Power 5, the following year. What makes him so effective in that role? And Brandon mentioned that Wisconsin may be a little bit similar schematically. I know they did multi-tight ends, but have you played much of a 13 personnel team that wasn't triple option necessarily? Because this is just different. I mean, it's just kind of a unique scheme. So Hutchinson, like I say, the uniqueness of this 13 personnel.
Well, James, Hutchinson, starting off with your first question, very dynamic. Very dynamic. You can see that his speed and his acceleration in and out of his transitions is elite. Very, very good ball skills, and he is a big target. They've got a lot of big targets, of course. I mean, that's all over the film, and then you don't even need to verify by looking at the roster about their length and size on offense, but the type of speed and acceleration that he possesses. And there's plenty of plays where you can see where once he gets it and he's in the open field, he can pull away. To your question about the multi-tight end sets and personnels, ironically enough, we've had a couple opponents that we've had a game plan for and we started to prep for that we didn't play against, that were teams that used 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends. So we've fortunate enough in the last month behind the scenes, we've been able to get some more work at seeing some of those sets and obviously how we aligned and how we adjust to those things.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach Avalos. Welcome back to the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. We'll be excited to have you at State Farm Stadium once again.
I appreciate it, Scott. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Happy holidays and good luck with the prep.